the West Bank mainly, but even in Gaza, they also commemorate this to some degree. They're carrying signs written in Arabic or in Hebrew or different languages, and this symbol of key, lost property. I don't know how many of you have this kind of thrill, milestone to buy your own property, to arrange something, and when you receive the key, you own this house. Got the key, today I'm collecting my key for my newly purchased property, and this you have everything, the key from you to your home, right? So when I saw that symbol, of course, what it reminded me of was the key to paradise, Miftah al-Jannah, which is La ilaha illallah Muhammadun Rasulullah. So declaration of it, which is up there behind me on that round circle in the mihrab. So of course, the people in Gaza and Palestine, let's say in general, and elsewhere where people are driven out of their homes, to open their chambers and gardens and palaces of paradise, inshallah ta'ala, they can forego everything else that belongs to this world, dunya, that's in it. But still, it's very painful to know that there are actually people who are until this day being kicked out of their homes. And one girl was a young Palestinian lady who says, we've been living and feeling that 1947, 48, 49 in the last few years. In fact, some of them remark saying, we've always lived through the Nakba. Like when we came out, see, those people were never left alone since the occupation of their territories in 1947. So of course, those are really painful 77 years. And the symbol of key that they showed had some more effect on me. So I was really depressed or sad, I should say, about what's happening. So I came across 100 photos, pictures of life in Palestine before 1947. Some of the pictures were at the end of 19th century, 1893, a college, teachers and students next to me. Like market in Bethlehem. Some pictures was from 1910 in Jerusalem, Jewish, where Muslims and Jews and Christians, people of all denominations, live peacefully next to each other. Other pictures of masjid, mosque, people praying. Children studying Kutab, 1911, I saw a picture, nice. Everybody was wearing a fez, Turkish fez, turban, and the teachers were wearing the turban. The traditional sweet shop, yesterday I think somebody was organized, they were distributing the traditional Palestinian sweet dish on the King's Parade in Cambridge City Centre, outside the King's College. And many other things a fruit market, where they were selling vegetables, things like that. But also farmlands, olive trees, beautiful things. People, children, women, young ladies, nicely with each other, of course. Christian ladies doing things coming from Bethlehem or some Hebrew, whatever. So it was, of course, nice to see that there were at least at some time in the last 100 or so years, people living there in peace and coexisting together. But what's been happening since the recent events has really outrageous. I don't handle it all myself, I just can't watch it much. I have to take an antidote, seeing some nature was a section for religious clergy, imams and scholars. They designated a particular area in the march where they will just stand next to each other, symbolically meaning, at least symbolically being united. And of course, I hope Sunni scholars and Shia scholars together, and Brahmi and Salafi and Sufi, and all of them united on something in common, like common ground, right? But of course, I hope there were some other religious scholars, cardinals, bishops, Church of England, rabbis, etc. And I wouldn't be surprised if some rabbis also marched today protesting against what is happening in Gaza or in Palestine in general. So even some ministers and politicians also took a different rhetoric this time around, and I came across this minister who gave this speech, now it must be 3 days ago, to Mr. Speaker, that's how they address it. So this is from Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, and reported by one MP. His name is Hamish. He's a Muslim Falcon. So 14th of May, literally like. So Gaza, oral statement to Parliament, Minister for the Middle East. So this guy, I didn't even know there was a minister for the Middle East. Minister for the Middle East, and his statement, official, published 14th of May, and also delivered to the parliamentarians on 14th of May. So he's an Englishman. This is his picture here, nice and neat. I don't know this minister. He said, Mr. Speaker, I'm quoting, yesterday, alongside partners, the UK convened a meeting of the UN Security Council in response to the intolerable civilian suffering and humanitarian need in Gaza. As I told this House yesterday, Israel's denial of aid is appalling. Tons of food are currently sitting rotting at the Gaza-Israeli border, blocked from reaching people who are starving. Israeli ministers have said Israel's decision to block this aid is a, quotation marks, Russian level. This is cruel, and it is indefensible. Overnight, yet more Palestinians have been killed in Israeli strikes. This must end. The message yesterday was clear. The world wants Israel to stop and change course immediately. With our allies, we are telling the government of Israel, lift the block on aid entering Gaza now. Full stop. Enable the UN and all humanitarians to save lives, now. And we need an immediate ceasefire, now. This is like what he's saying. Humanitarian aid must never be used as a political tool or military tactic. And the UK will not support any mechanism that seeks to deliver political or military objectives or puts vulnerable civilians at risk. The International Court of Justice case of genocide is ongoing, still ongoing. And then he said, the minister, Mr. Speaker, we support the ICJ. We support its independence. The ICJ issued a set of provisional measures in this case, and we support those measures. Israel has an obligation to implement them because they are signatories. It is the UK government's long-standing position that any formal determination as to whether genocide has occurred is a matter, this is a really good, profound wisdom, is a matter for a competent court and not for governments or non-judicial bodies to declare or dismiss. The UK is fully committed to upholding our responsibility responsibilities under domestic and international law. And we have at all times acted in a manner consistent with our legal obligations, including under the Genocide Convention. The devastation from this conflict